June 323 BCE. The air in Babylon is thick with heat and fear. Alexander, the King of Kings, burns with a terrible fever. His generals hover like vultures. His soldiers weep and wait for the end. But the fever breaks. The conqueror opens his eyes. Death, it seems, must wait. This is not the fragmentation of an empire. This is the terrifying dawn of a new, relentless world order. What if Alexander the Great survived to reign for 4 more decades? History tells us the conqueror died at 32, his empire fracturing before his body was even cold. But imagine a world where the fever breaks. Alexander opens his eyes in Babylon. He does not die. Instead, he rises. He brings a storm of iron and fire that will consume the entire Mediterranean. He will live to see 70. He will crush Carthage. He will march on a young republic called Rome. But absolute power breeds absolute paranoia. Watch the greatest empire in human history eat itself alive from the inside out. His 30s, 323 to 316 BCE. The Arabian conquest and consolidation. Alexander survives, but his soul is poisoned by grief. The recent death of his closest companion, Hephaestion, has left him erratic and unstable. He channels his dark psychological state into warfare. His authentic royal diaries, the hypothetical, outline his immediate target, Arabia. He demands control of the lucrative spice routes to link his Mesopotamian heartland with Egypt. Alexander orders a staggering 1,000 massive warships built in Phoenicia and Syria, dragging them overland to the Euphrates. The Arab tribes are brutally subjugated. Babylon transforms into the pulsing, bureaucratic heart of a hybrid Greco-Persian world. His 40s, 315 to 306 BCE. The Western Campaign. With Arabia secured, Alexander's ambition devours the West. His eyes turn to Carthage and the tribes of Iberia and Italy. He constructs a massive military logistics road across the North African coast, stretching all the way to the Pillars of Hercules. His monstrous fleet darkens the Mediterranean. Carthage falls under a combined land and sea assault. But Italy is a different beast. Rome is locked in a desperate, grinding war with the Samnites. Alexander steps onto Italian soil. It is a clash of absolute arrogance against stubborn survival. His 50s, 305 to 296 BCE. Hellenization and paranoia. The conqueror grows old. His body is a map of trauma, battered by clubs, arrows, and swords. His lung, pierced years ago in India, aches with every breath. He attempts a massive forced social experiment. He uproots entire populations, transplanting them between Asia and Europe to force cultural harmony through mass intermarriage. But you cannot mandate brotherhood. The Macedonians despise his Persian clothes, his tyrannical demands for prostration, and his integration of Persian nobles into elite cavalry units. Paranoia rules the court. Alexander executes old friends at the slightest whisper of treason. Fear, not loyalty, holds the empire together. His 60s, 295 to 286 BCE. The aging despot and the Eastern Wall. The empire is too heavy. Alexander remains in Babylon, a prisoner of his own colossal success. In the east, a nightmare unfolds. A brilliant young leader named Chandragupta Maurya has overthrown the oppressive Nanda dynasty. He unites the Indian subcontinent. Chandragupta commands an overwhelming force of 600,000 infantry and 9,000 war elephants. Alexander's veterans remember the sheer terror of fighting Indian beasts. They refuse to march. age, and logistical nightmares force Alexander to swallow his pride. He signs a bitter peace treaty, abandoning his easternmost dreams just as his successor Seleucus historically did. Rome and Carthage. The clash of systems. Carthage relies on vast mercantile wealth, naval supremacy, and mercenary armies. Alexander nullifies this entirely. His fleet of oversized quadriremes and quinqueremes crushes the traditional Punic triremes. Rome, however, presents a tactical nightmare. Rome fields the flexible Manipular legion, divided into hastati, principes, and veteran triarii. They fight in checkerboard formations. Alexander's rigid Macedonian phalanx dominates flat plains, but bleeds heavily in the rugged Apennine Mountains. The Romans wage a brutal war of attrition. Alexander ultimately breaks Rome through sheer numbers and siege warfare, but the human cost breaks the spirit of his own army. The East, the rise of the Mauryan Behemoth. While Alexander bleeds in Italy, Chandragupta Maurya exploits the power vacuum in the East. Mentored by the ruthless strategist Chanakya, Chandragupta uses guerrilla warfare to exhaust the Macedonian garrisons left behind. The Mauryan Empire rises. Alexander, now in his late 60s, faces a logistical impossibility. He cannot march an army from Babylon to the Ganges. His men mutinied at the Hyphasis River when they were young. Now, they absolutely refuse to face Chandragupta's 9,000 elephants. The conqueror is forced to acknowledge a power equal to his own. The year is 286 BCE. The king is dead at 70. The map of the world is staggering. A single border stretches from the Atlantic Ocean at Gibraltar to the edge of the Hindu Kush. But the foundation is made of sand. His designated heir is Alexander IV, his son with the Bactrian princess Roxana. The boy is half Persian. The Macedonian elite detest his eastern blood. For decades, they bowed to Alexander out of pure, terrifying intimidation. With the great tyrant gone, the illusion of a unified Greco-Persian world shatters instantly. The generals draw their swords. The civil war was not prevented. It was only delayed. The empire eats itself, plunging the ancient world into an even darker, bloodier abyss. What do you believe? Would the stubborn Roman Republic have broken the Macedonian war machine? Or would the war elephants of India have trampled Alexander's exhausted veterans? Step into the light and leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you hunger for the hidden truths of the past, you belong here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the Trail of Wisdom. Walk the path of empires and learn from their ashes. Until next time.